Okay, next topic. Where do we have here? So we'll start talking about some other news going on around the country as far as away from sports. We're done with sports, as the saying goes. Stick to sports. We're leaving sports right now. So we're getting to, I'm guessing, what a lot of you guys want to see me talk about today. Tory Daystar Peterson Lanez. Talk about not having any sense of timing. How do you drop an album the day Breonna Taylor murderers were pretty much acquitted? Because, I mean, they weren't charged with anything. They were charged with wanton endangerment, but that's nothing. The day they were charged with that petty ass charge of wanton endangerment, you dropped an album pretty much, to what looks like, to my black queens, slandering a black queen. And I don't agree with them necessarily slandering a black queen, but just the fact that you're disputing what she said on the day that we should all be focused on what happened in the Breonna Taylor case. We're now focused on the fact that, Tory Lanez dropped an album, and that's what everybody was, you announced it. He announced the same day that Breonna Taylor murderers, and I stick by that when I say murderers, were acquitted or not properly charged. He announced that he would be going live, and everyone expected him to be on live talking about the case, but instead he dropped an album. Now, this is tricky for me, because how do I honestly give my perspective without sounding like I'm defending Tory Lanez? I'm not here to defend Tory Lanez at all whatsoever, but I do want to give my perspective on this topic. The fact that people wanted him to instead go live and talk about the case instead of dropping an album. Listen, guys, we can't have it both ways. We can't ask our artists to talk about their personal life on the music, in the music, but when they do, we choose and pick when we want that to be in the music. No, I had no problems with Tory Lanez dropping an album explaining the Meg The Stallion situation in the shooting, or the perceived shooting, as Tory Lanez will indicate. As an artist, talk about that in your music. I'm tired of these artists. Listen, before we have blogs and before we have all these news outlet and ways for artists to translate their messages across, as an artist, you had to spill your personal life on the record. That's the only way people knew what was going on with you. Nowadays, we want artists to go live. We want artists to do comments, tweet this. Listen, I have no problem with an artist saying, this is what I've experienced the last few months or the last few years, and instead of going live and talking about it on IG Live or Facebook Live and giving these platforms, because that's exactly what you do. When you go live on Facebook and IG, you give these platforms a chance to make millions off of you. If Tory Lanez would have went live yesterday, I think it would have been on Thursday technically. If he would have went live on Thursday and talked about this Meg The Stallion shooting, he would have had a plus of 1 million, if not 2 million people tuning. And guess who would have benefited off of that live? IG. None of that none of that would have went to Tory Lanez, or none of that would have went to his team. So, and I know we don't want artists making money off of what happened, but look, that's his personal life. He's entitled to earn a living for his family. He's an artist. He's not like a carpenter who's putting out music around the topic that happened around him. No, he's an artist. He's allowed. He should be allowed to spill it all in the music. Isn't that what we want? You know what I mean? Nah, I do agree. It is terrible timing. It's the wrong time to do that. Be aware. Be aware of what's going on. Like, have at least like a sense of awareness of the time we're in, the situation we're in, the news we just received. Be aware of that and say, okay, maybe I should hold this back a little bit. But, other than that, I don't have a problem with Tory Lanez getting on the album and really telling us what happened, or at least explaining his side of the story. Now, let's get into some of what he said on the album. First thing first, he said he didn't shoot Meg. And I think a lot of people needed to hear that, as far as like Could we even defend you? Could we even listen to your music? What is this to talk about? If you shot Meg, automatically you're a scumbag. You're the lowest of the lowest. You're shooting at a woman perceivably while she's turned around. Nobody wants to hear what the possibly explanation for that. But Tory Lanez came out and denied it. Said 100% equivocally, I did not shoot you. I did not shoot Meg. Now, the question I have for him is, yo, Tory, we are not just accepting you saying you did not shoot Meg. If you didn't shoot Meg, who did? It's one thing to come out and say, I didn't shoot Meg. It's a whole nother thing if you would have said, who shot her? Now, if you follow the case closely as I do, you will know there was 4 people in the car. It was Tory, it was Meg The Stallion, it was Meg's best friend, and Tory's security. Who shot Meg if it wasn't you? So automatically we've got to eliminate Meg. Now I'm sure she did not shoot herself in the head. Not going there. So that eliminates her as a candidate. Her best friend, it gets tricky. Stay tuned. I'm going to do a video elaborating what I think happened in this case. And I know, hey Dave, you don't have any credentials. You're not a part of this case. What makes you have the right to think you know what happened? It's my conspiracy. I believe, based off of what Tory has said and based off of what Meg has said, I've put together a conspiracy theory that I think happened during this case, and I will elaborate on that on a different video. But for now, we're just going to talk about the facts of the case and what both artists have said pertaining this case. So, Tory, if you didn't shoot Meg, who did? Who did? It's not just okay for you to come out and say I didn't shoot Meg. You, as a witness in the car, have got to give first a proper explanation for who did if it wasn't you. It was you, her best friend, and your security in the car. If those are the 4, and Meg The Stallion. But I'm assuming she didn't shoot herself. So, come on, Tory. You've got to be a little bit more open than that. The public is looking at you as somebody who potentially shot a woman with no just reason. So until you can give us who shot Meg if it wasn't you, we're still looking at you, Tory. You still got a lot of explaining to do. Okay, so, but about the album. So now that we've gotten that out the way, let's just say I was impressed by this. It's rough because how do we talk about this topic and not seem like we're defending Tory? How do I talk about this topic and not seem like I'm defending Tory? For the record, once again, I am equivocally saying I am not defending Tory. This is no defense of Tory. I do defend his right to earn a living as an artist, to continue being an artist. But personally, to defend him as in like what he did was right or what he did was properly, equal. No, none of that. Tory, you're wrong. If you shot Meg The Stallion, you're wrong. As far as the project, just judging how I received the project, this was fire. This was fire. As far as an artist really talking about his personal life, if you know me, I'm the kind of person who says like, yes, put it on the record. If you're an artist, I want to hear it on the record. I don't want to see a tweet from you. I don't want to see an IG live from you. Put it in the music. Make the music feel personal. I love when artists give me personal music. Like Big Sean just did it in his recent Detroit 2 album. He talked a lot about his personal life, what he's going through, the miscarriage unfortunately he and his lady had. Those are stuff I like to see in the music because I feel like you're not just giving me a cover up version of you. You're actually letting me see behind the gates like who's the artist back there. So in this case, when Tory Lanez puts it in the music and I see people on Twitter offended that he's capitalizing off of this, whoa, calm down, guys. You want him to go on IG Live so IG can make $1 million from 1 million people coming on, sell that to advertisements, sell you all these advertisements that comes on your IG page, and instead of Tory making a living or earning something off of his personal life, and this is his personal life. He's not capitalizing off of Breonna Taylor. He's not capitalizing off of George Floyd. He's capitalizing off of what happened to him personally. Now, whether he was wrong or that, we as the public owes, we as the public will eventually judge him and hold him to that. But as an artist, make a living off of your personal life. I have no problem with that. let's talk about what he said on the record as far as he took a few shots at a few people. Kalani is one of them. Asian Doll is one of them. J.R. Smith caught a light jab in there also. You know, he talked about how some of these artists, even before talking to him, having his personal contact, didn't feel the need to reach out to him when they were, you know, kind of making a decision as far as if they were going to cast him out or not. You know, he talked a lot about Kalani and their relationship, how they had a personal relationship even before this situation. They had each other contact. He talked about how he helped her baby. I understand why he's saying that. He's trying to explain how personal the relationship was. But look, man, this got nothing to do with that, man. So what, you held my baby. If you shoot somebody later on, I can kind of hold that judge. Now, I'm not saying, like, Tory said he didn't shoot her, so we kind of have to hold, if we're judging it off of what he said, we kind of have to hold him to the fact that he did say he didn't shoot her. But if you shoot somebody later, man, I don't care what the situation is with my baby or if you held my baby. I'm allowed to, like, you know, pull that back from you or so. But he was kind of offended that people like Kalani, Asian Doll, even had Rick Ross, who recently threw a jab at him on IG as far as not liking the fact that he dropped an album in the midst of the Breonna Taylor news. You know, he took another jab at him to say, hey, man, you're always promoting your brands off of what happened in current event stuff. So you two are capitalizing off of what happened, but yet you're kind of judging me and critiquing me off of me doing the same thing. So he had that to say about Rick Ross. So, but, you know, caught a jab at J.R. Smith too. The J.R. Smith one was funny because literally after the album dropped, like a day later, J.R. Smith was coming off the bench with his shirt off, even though he didn't play a single minute, didn't do anything. And that just kind of brought back that bar that he threw at J.R. Smith. He's like, I don't expect you to be talking, man. You're a bench rider. Something of that sort, you know, something about shots that he took, you know. But that's not what this is about. Let's stick to Tory Lanez and Meg The Stallion. So if we looked at the album strictly off of what it is, I thought the album was fire as far as him addressing his personal life and also denying shooting Meg The Stallion. Check out my conspiracy video to see what I believe happened based off of what he has said, what she has said, and the facts that have came out. I will do that sometime today after this podcast comes out. So keep a lookout for that. My Tory Lanez conspiracy video. That should be exciting. And I can't wait to do that one. So